Hey there guys, welcome back to Celerity Technology. Today I wanted to kind of give you a little update. I haven't been busy lately over the past couple of weeks, and I really haven't been putting out many videos other than that kind of April Fool's one I did. I hope you guys enjoyed that, by the way. So as many of you saw, the white RGB DAC that I did, I think was it a month and a half, 2 months ago, was my third revision in my learning process of how to make a PCB, best ways to approach it, and I decided to make a new revision, and this time I picked a different color. This time I went with black, and a little bit has changed on this board. The big thing is, my first idea was I was going to just go with a fan header and then use extra supply 12 volt and 5 volt to it, as well as the ground, and that way people could put extensions. But you know, in all honesty, it's just easier just to use a fan, not a fan, but an old floppy drive power header, because believe it or not, they actually still include them in most power supplies, whether it be a Molex to floppy adapter for modular cables, or just a floppy power on your standard El Cheapo power supplies. So I decided to do that, and this is kind of what I ended up with. So as you can see, here they are, and these two can be stacked. They're very close, but they're actually not touching in any critical area. Also, I can always put bigger standoffs on this, and the basic overall design is the same. Just the major change is this floppy drive header. I mean, it was just easy, and if I'm looking at mass producing these, just getting rid of the headache of having to source a power cable. That's something that's really small. Even prior to this, I thought about just soldering it directly to it, but then you have to worry about strain issues on the cables, and then you just get wires that just break off. I've actually seen that with the RGB fittings that I have from Thermal Tank. They didn't put anything for strain relief. Even some hot snot would work, but they didn't do that. So I wanted to avoid this. I'm trying to make this as kind of idiot proof. I know some people will still fry it, and I'm not calling them an idiot, but I'm trying to make this as foolproof, I guess. So I don't know how you can put it nicely. I want this when you're tired and it's 3 a.m. in the morning, you just want to finish the build and you plug the wrong thing, you force it in or something. I want to try to prevent that as well as I can, and I guess that's what I'm trying to aim for. But anyway, as you can see, I have a white header on here. It doesn't look pretty, but unless I can get 10,000 people that want to buy these, guaranteed buy them, then that's the only way they'll produce black headers. It's like quantity of 10,000. So one way around that is just to get a black connector. There's mod shops that will probably sell even SATA power to floppy with sleeved and make it look pretty and whatnot with a black header. I've noticed that these tend to be a little hard to get in and out, but I mean, the nice thing is they're quite a bit different than the other headers, and I was thinking about doing a couple of special ones where I actually do fan headers on these, because the Thermaltake RGB fittings, which run at 5 volt, use those, which is kind of a bad idea, and I do have a solder jumper. I might actually do a production change where I just, instead of doing a solder jumper, I just do a regular jumper, where that way somebody can just move a jumper to switch the analog RGB from 12 to 5. Because right now you have to actually remove the solder from one part of the jumper and solder it on the other. That's how you can change these all the power that's delivered to the analog from 12 to 5 and vice versa. So yeah, it's been quite interesting working on developing this, and I'm also working with a manufacturer. It's actually not JLPCB which made these boards, but a different manufacturer that not only does the boards, but they can also supply the components as well as assemble it. Because in all, there's no way I have any time or real interest in assembling, hundreds or potentially thousands of these. just have the time, and the amount I would charge would be so high that no one won't want to buy them anyway. So I mean, the idea is you really need to have a machinist assemble most of this, and then depending on how they do it, you potentially have one person to solder the backs, or anyway, sorry. So let's talk about this. So a few people might have questions. So the this DAC has two types of inputs, either digital or two different digital inputs. You can only use one at a time. So you can plug it into your motherboard header, and we also block off one pin, so therefore you can't reverse the polarity and potentially short something out. But I mean, you can still potentially damage it, so you want to turn off your system when you do this, because you really don't want to fry anything in your system or this board. So again, if you're going to plug something in, especially with the digital header, make sure it's powered off. Your system is. It has two digital out, and these are both mirrored. The first 4 channels of the digital output to these analog, and then the next 5 to whatever can come out of here. So you can actually run multiple LEDs off this. There's 2 fuses on this for 3 amp, so you really can't run I think it's like 48 5-volt LEDs, and that includes if you switch it to 5-volt, and I think I'm looking at maybe, maybe 30 LEDs per per header for the 12-volt, up to I think on each header. So I really don't want to put too much power through this. I mean, it's not designed. It's more for plugging that one fan into the analog header, and you can stack them if you want. Yeah, so trying to source parts can be a little difficult. So I'm working with a manufacturer and to basically manufacture the PCBs, supply the components, and also assemble them. But for instance, you still have to kind of work with them, because if they can't find a part that's kind of odd, like these type of headers, then you can look at DigiKey, where they charge you like $1 to $1.25 for each of these, so they add up, and that's really something you can actually probably get for cheaper from other places. And same with these headers. I mean, the headers can really start to add up if you don't source them from a place that's cheap. DigiKey tends to be really expensive. It seems Mauser seems better, but if I'm going to produce it in China, then I'm just going to see if I can source it there, as opposed to shipping it stuff to them and having them do it that way. So then also there's the sale of it, which I'm looking at 2 different methods. I have a friend who wants to sell some of these on his little eBay store, and then there's also a local mod company that wants to sell these for me. So I guess Urbanios will be their website. Amazon, I'm still in talks with these people, so I'm not going to give any names or ever drop any hints. But I know both of the guys, and they are pretty cool. So it's just I don't have the logistics or time and place to handle the sales, shipping, sales tax, all that type of stuff. So I know running a business firsthand is difficult and time consuming, and working a full-time job as a Linux system engineer and doing stuff like this, I think I would rather spend my time developing new products and publishing new videos, looking at new technology, as opposed to just mass producing these by hand and trying to sell them. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask a comment. Kind of one of my subscribers, Tech Wookie, kind of got me thinking this, so that's why I decided to post this video. And feel free to subscribe if you want to see more content. But this video is pretty much just for the guys that already subscribed to my channel. Well, have a nice one.